Baby, can we still shine? Tell me that we'll be fine. Always live in love.
Hello, I'm Whitney Kobrin. Welcome to another episode. I am a love coach for women and the owner of Heart Hunters Love Coaching. And today we're going to be talking about one of the books that I recommend to all the women in my program. My program is called Love Yourself, Love Your Life, and Have Lasting Love. And that is our goal with that program. So today we're going to be talking about a book called Deeper Dating. And the subtitle here is How to Drop the Games of Seduction and Discover the Power of Intimacy. Why you don't need to look perfect, act confident, or play hard to get to find real love. And it's written by Ken Page. I highly recommend this book. I love it. I use it in my program with everyone that I work with. And today I'm just going to share with you a few quick pieces or parts of this book that I find will help you immensely in your search for love. So the first is understanding that we have an authentic self. And the author describes it as your gift zone. And this authentic self is often protected. And let me just give you an idea of what our gifts are. So, for example, feeling moved by a story or an insight or a piece of art or music, feeling a wordless ache in your heart, being touched by something beautiful in nature, feeling a wave of longing for something or someone, the feeling of holding hands with someone you love, the feeling of pleasure in helping someone, feeling love for a person or a pet who loves you. It's these beautiful, treasured moments that we have in our life, which we often don't want to seek or share because of our fear, really. And remember that on the other side of fear is joy. So what happens is we don't act from this center of our authentic self. Instead, we kind of get out into our protected version of ourself. And this is like a more airbrushed version of ourself, where we're not fully authentic, but we feel safe. You know, we feel less at risk of embarrassment or rejection or failure. And yet, as we move away from this deeper, more sentimental, authentic self, it also moves us away from our soul and our sense of meaning. So when we get too far away from that authenticity, that warmth, that humanity, that deepest part of you, we begin to experience a very painful sense of emptiness and despair. I mean, if you just think about somebody who's totally a facade and fake, and I'm sure you can think of at least a celebrity, if not someone you know personally, when you really get down into their core, a lot of times they're really hurting and they just put on this show and this facade. But almost all of us do it to some degree. So I'm sure that if you're dating, you probably do this as well. And again, going back to this, how to drop the games of seduction and discover the power of intimacy. All of the sudden, when you can just be your most authentic self on every date, dating becomes easier and more enjoyable. But most of us, we move away from this part of us, and most of us live in this zone where we're close enough to it to feel the warmth, but to not get burned. We always, keep people at an arm's length and protect ourselves. But in love, you can't find the real thing with someone while you're protecting yourself, because you're also protecting yourself from the good things. So I want you to think back to a time when you experienced a rich sense of connection to warmth and your own humanity. And thinking of some of those examples that I read earlier, find a memory that stands out. Really, take a minute, close your eyes, think about this, go back and remember the experience. Where were you at the time? What was happening? Try to recall how the event unfolded and what feelings it evoked in you. And remember how that experience touched you. And now savor that memory. And that is your gift zone. That is your authentic zone. That's what we want to tap into when we're in the process of dating. The more you feel your authentic self, the more you can have compassion for yourself and really honor that part of yourself, which is extremely important, because intimacy is really just authenticity meeting compassion. And I'll be reviewing another book called Mindful Self-Compassion, because I find that self-compassion is at the root of self-love. Many people misunderstand that and think that self-love is all about self-care. And if I go get a manicure and take a bath, that's self-love. But then they beat themselves up mentally and say, oh, you're so stupid. How'd you mess that up again? And they don't have compassion for themselves. So therefore, they're not really being loving to themselves. And all of our relationships, I say this all the time, start with your relationship with yourself. So if you are not being compassionate and loving and kind and authentic with yourself, that is the first area that you need to address before you can address dating or your relationship. Another thing in this book that I really loved and find so valuable is the 90% rule. And what this means is that you're going to go out and be your most authentic self and really put yourself out there and be vulnerable. And you just need to know that 90% of people will not be a mutual match with you. And that's okay. When you take the pressure off, I have women that say, yeah, I tried online dating and it didn't work. And what they did is they went on 3 dates max, sometimes less. Sometimes they just talked to people and never even met anyone in person. And they say it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work if that's the way you're doing it. But if you can really just be authentic and get people face to face, then I say that the goal on your date is not to get them to like you, because that puts a lot of pressure on you and brings up insecurities. And it's not to see if you like them, because then you end up asking them 20 questions and it becomes like an interview, which totally ruins the romantic vibe. So the goal of a first date is not either of those. The goal is to, number one, practice being your most authentic self. And number two, have fun. Have the best time you can. Know that there's a 90% chance this person is not going to become your significant other, but you are spending 1 hour with them. Don't make your dates more than 1 hour, first dates, because you don't know. But you can always spend 1 hour with a person. Give them 1 hour. Find out about them. Be curious. Have fun. Make a joke. Be silly. Enjoy yourself, even if it's not a match. And in the process, those that could be a match, it will be so much more fulfilling and on fire, because you're really matching with your true self and not some airbrushed version of yourself. So I hope that you enjoyed this summary of deeper dating. I would love to know what you think. So what do you think? Does any of this resonate with you? If you're struggling in love, I invite you to hop over to my website, whitneylovecoach.com, and download my free gift, 3 Shifts to Manifest Your Ideal Relationship. And while you're there, I also invite you to apply for a love life strategy session with me. This is a free call where we'll talk in depth about your personal situation and love life and figure out a strategy to make it better. So easy to schedule. Just call or text me at the number you see on the screen or on my website, because everyone, including you, deserves to love themselves, love your life, and have lasting love. I am Whitney Kobrin, and I am a love coach. So when people are thinking about spending money on getting help, having somebody to guide them and support them, oftentimes they're hesitant about spending that money. They want to know exactly, what am I going to get out of this? Someone that's going to bring out the best in them, encourage and support and love them